Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. Do not forget that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan83. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. Of course, the Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And don't forget, you can listen wherever you listen to podcasts via iHeart, Spotify, Google, etc. Simply tell your device to play the Full Court Press by Drew Duncan. 32 teams, 32 days, the NFL. The focus as of right now, the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, a football team that a couple of years ago made a tremendous comeback against the Kansas City Chiefs to win an AFC wildcard game. The same Tennessee Titans that a season ago, though they finished 9-7, would start the year 2-0, and that included a victory over Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, whom, by the way, has been defeated in 10 games 4 times by Ryan Tannehill, the backup for the Tennessee Titans, whom people are starting to murmur that there could be a quarterback controversy with Tannehill or Mariota. Look, Tannehill had a pretty decent stint when he was with the Miami Dolphins. Here's the thing, though. Would you rather have Ryan Tannehill or Marcus Mariota? You have the experience, and you have games that, quite frankly, a lot of other quarterbacks I don't think would have won with the Miami Dolphins that Ryan Tannehill has under his belt, i.e. 4 victories over Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. And the reason why that stat is so important, because if I remember correctly, right now that holds all the water, all the weight, right? That's what he carries with him, because as of right now in the NFL, there's no quarterback that has been that successful against Tom Brady, if the stat that they just dropped this morning is correct. Or would you have Marcus Mariota? Look, you have a very similar style. I think Mariota may be a little bit faster. Both guys kind of injury prone. I think Tannehill may have the better overall arm in terms of being able to throw the deep ball, in terms of deep ball accuracy. I think he's a little bit better than Mariota in that capacity. But you've got a guy in Mariota who's been running this offense now for a little while. He's gotten comfortable under the coach Mike Vrabel. I think him and this football team, especially offensively with Derrick Henry and all those other guys, are really comfortable with Marcus Mariota. Look, I'm not the type to judge what goes on in a locker room, all right? It's really not my business until somebody decides to come out and say this is how it is, until Vrabel or somebody makes a different announcement. Mariota's the guy. Now, here's the catch-22, I think, with this football team. And that is, offensively, they're kind of hit and miss, right? I think Derrick Henry is a phenomenal running back. But I don't know that Mariota is ready to take that next step, right? That's been the conversation for Mariota. Can he go from being just a quarterback in the NFL to being an elite quarterback in the NFL? Can he go, and by that I think we all mean he is unequivocally your starter, no matter who the backup is, no matter what the situation is, right? There's a lot of people that'll tell you that the most popular player on a football team from the fans is the backup quarterback. I think Tim Tebow is the glimmering example of that. But I think this is probably kind of like a Jameis Winston situation, like a couple of others that are in this league. This is your year. This is your time. We need to know what you're going to be. You know, Mariota took a lot of criticism from people for diving into the end zone in that preseason game against the New England Patriots and basically risking himself. I personally love the tenacity that Mariota put up, that he showed. And that's one of the things that I wrote about in that article. He's aggressive by nature. If you want to change how a player is, then I think that you're asking a player to just do too much, because that's who Marcus Mariota is as a player. If you call that option play, the RPO, the zone read, whatever you want to call it, it boils down to it being an option. Then that's what you're going to get. I really like Marcus Mariota, but I don't know how good he's really going to be in this league. He may end up being one of those guys that's just an average quarterback, and that's it, which there's really nothing wrong with that. Look, securing a starting position in this league at the quarterback position is never a guarantee for anybody. I don't care who you are. I mean, yeah, you've got Aaron Rodgers, you've got Tom Brady, but even then, right? Even then, Green Bay eventually moved on from Brett Favre and said, no, you're not going to play this game anymore. Aaron Rodgers is our guy going forward. Boom. Look at Alex Smith. A lot of people make fun of him. You see what, so far, Patrick Mahomes has been capable of. But I was very critical because I said, look, this is a big move by the Chiefs, whether you want to think it is or not, because, again, until Alex Smith got hurt and up until that point with the Chiefs, he was one of the top 4 winning quarterbacks in all the NFL. Defensively last year, this team ranked number 8 in all the NFL. Pretty damn good. If you have a top 10 defense, you should be a top 10 football team in the NFL. But does a top 10 team really mean anything? No. It's not about rankings in the NFL. This isn't college football. It's not about any of those things. It's about one thing and one thing only. Getting to the playoffs and getting a Super Bowl. Period. That is the ultimate goal in the NFL. And I think that people are looking at this Titans team offensively because defensively they still look pretty good. Got Wesley Woodyard, Daquan Jones, Harold Landry, Jayon Brown. I mean, this is a good-looking football team. Malcolm Butler. Defensively, this is a solid-looking football team. Offensively, can they get to that next step? Can Cody Hollister step up? Jennings, Smith, Walker, Mariota. That's going to be the deal. And I don't think there's too much question about Derrick Henry. I think overall, when you look at this football team, they've got a decent offensive line, especially when it comes to the run game and the ability to take pressure off of their quarterbacks, whomever they may be, whether it's Mariota or Tannehill. I think you've got enough to take pressure off of your quarterback and your receivers so that way they start keying in more on your run game. And Derrick Henry's that guy that can just grind you out and really wear down a defense and make you key in on him. He's good enough to be that. It's going to come down to a lot of play calling. Look, this team could be kind of a physical finesse type football team offensively. I think they can give you a little bit of both. But schedule permitting, right, because they're going to open up the season in Cleveland. Then it's on to the Colts. Obviously, no Andrew Luck. We're going to see what Jacoby Brissett is made of pretty quickly. They're going to be facing the Bills, who, again, top 5 defense in the NFL last year. I think they ranked 2nd or 3rd. I've made mention of it a bunch of times. Not really sure what we're going to get out of Denver or the LA Chargers. They've got the Buccaneers. One of the bigger games is going to be the Chiefs. I mean, they face the entire AFC West in this schedule. Then, of course, much later on down the road in December, they're going to have the New Orleans Saints, but that game is at home. Tennessee could win 10 games this year. And I think with no Andrew Luck, it's going to boil down to, in the minds of a lot of people, the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. And I think with Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt, even with no Jadeveon Clowney, which is how it's looking at this juncture, a lot of people are going to favor the Houston Texans over the Tennessee Titans. And even then, we could see a season where this Indianapolis Colts team sprouts up and says, we're going to do this for Andrew Luck and play very motivated football throughout the course of the year. Look, Jacoby Brissett may be playing with a real chip on his shoulder right now. And mind you, he looked pretty good when he was with the Pats, right? Wasn't he 3-1, 4-1, somewhere in that neighborhood? Sure, 4-11 the year that Andrew Luck was out as a starter. Not very good. But again, as I made mention of before, I don't really think that there was a coach out there that really knows how to use him. And he's a lot more similar to Andrew Luck than I think people really understand. So with the Titans, we'll see. Guys, I am Drew Duncan, host of the Full Court Press. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan83. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. And, of course, the Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And as always, don't you dare touch that die.